Hey peeps, how y'all doing? Oh, it's so good to be back. I feel like I haven't been here for ages. I usually come on a particular day, and this week I've missed that day. Half term again, you know. How have they got 2 weeks half term? They go to a normal comprehensive school. That's a private school thing, fam. Anyway, they had half term again. Took them swimming on Monday. Could I make it here? No, couldn't. Terrible. Sorry about that, people. Not that you would know unless I tell you, but you know, like how we have this thing. It's all about promoting honesty. You get it? So I feel like I haven't been here for ages. You're going to tell, like, it feels like I haven't been here for ages. I am so excited about today's stuff. Don't forget to like and subscribe, people. Like and subscribe. Yeah? Don't forget. Good. We're at Rare Hub, yeah, because we love it here. It's so cozy. It's so cool. I was just speaking about having like late night little shingdings here. Try to make the man lose his local license and thing. No, not really, but you know how we are, how we stay. Us black folk, we love to enjoy ourselves. Anyway, I wanted to talk about some stuff today, like carrying on from the last show that we had, and all the stuff that I had to say. And I meant every word of it. I'm in our tech back talk. Okay. Today's one's gonna have you up as well. You'll all know who I'm talking to. If it applies to you, if the cap fits, all the rest of it, then boy, that's how it is. Because I've been in the situation that I'm talking about, and I've done what I've had to do. You lot are doing different stuff. It's not producing the proper people that we want generations to come. So, like I said to you before, we can contribute to the economy and get taken seriously as a nation. You know, us black British Caribbean people, yeah? That, like, there's only 3% of us here, and we ain't doing as well as we should. Anyway, last week I showed you, or last episode, or whenever you watched it, yeah, I showed you where I think it's coming from. Starts from creation, yeah? So when you have that unprotected sex and you born that child, that's where it starts from. So after you guys have done that, and you've made sure that the child is growing up how they're growing up, whatever way you choose to do it, you know my views, yeah? Then you decide to go to work. Are you lot serious? You're going to get a job. I'm not really bothered whether you're a single parent or not, because as we've discussed before, it does take two to parent. You need that support. Yeah, we know that. However, I know women, just like myself, that go to work to get away from their children. Are you not serious? You're not working for that much money. You got away from your child. Well done. Congratulations. Woohoo. Where's your child? Oh, they've got a phone. You still don't know where they are. I know people have got their children while they're at work, supposed to be coming home from school. They ain't getting home from school until like 9, 10 o'clock. Where are you? At work doing other people. Where do you not find time to do people's work? I find it difficult to do my own work within my home. Like keep it tidy, keep it clean. Two different things. Yeah, you lot are aware of that, yeah? Make food, yeah? Because obviously nutrition is important for the well-being of the child. Nah, Kentucky, yeah? MacD's, yeah? Nah, you lot have got it wrong. You're working, now I'm at work. Oh, yeah, no, yeah, work. Looking at me, like, oh, you don't work, so you're all right. How's that? This is what I decided to do when I had the children. Take a pay cut, brethren. Here why I decided to take a pay cut, because the cost of me taking the pay cut was more beneficial to me spending time with the children and having time for them, being there when they come home from school. Me thinking at the time that the most important time was their younger years, not realising that actually it's the older years. Do you know what I mean? As they get older, that's when you definitely need, it was secondary school. What, you think it's all right for you to go out to work while your children go to secondary school? That's the time you're deciding to go to work. That's, you want a career. Didn't you think about career before you opened up your foot, had unprotected sex? Didn't you think about that then? You should have done. We spoke about this very first time we got together, thinking about things before you do it, planning it out, thinking that 10 years ahead. We spoke about this, yeah? No, okay, that hasn't happened. Don't make it go even more wrong by actually leaving that child with who? Childminder. Oh, the woman up the road. Oh, your friend, you're giving her a tenner. Not going to work out, fam. It's not going to work out, because this is what you need to do. You need to nurture your child, isn't it? You know your child best. I don't know how many of you spent time breastfeeding. I breastfed all of my 4 children. They said 6 months. 6 months I done. So whoever was born on whatever day, 6 months later on that day, I stopped breastfeeding. I done my little duty. How I done that, nobody knows, because you got breasts, mountain breasts over here, child over there doing something over there, this, that, very, but you do what you can. Because here's the joke, I haven't got people's work to run up and down and go and do. So I took my time. I took the pay cut, benefits. Them call it benefit. Why don't you not start using it as a benefit? Nah, you wanna buy a D, buy liquor. You wanna go raving. I've noticed, yeah, the raves are never ever empty. They're rammed with uno. And I'm not saying that's wrong, because everybody's got to enjoy themselves. But where's the children? At my mum's. Because you're relying on that still. Do you know what I mean? There's that form of thing. There's this thing about, if you go to work, you're showing your children something about work ethics, this and that. You don't see your children, so how are you showing them anything? You don't even get to see them more time. Do you get me? You're not spending the quality time that you should be spending with them, building that foundation, yeah, to make them not want to go road when they get older and run up and down with gangs and follow man them and do things that they're not supposed to do, because you've got them on lock, because you had that foundation from early, because you spent the time. When I rang my grandma, she moved to Grenada in 1997. When I was having children, she was over there, coming over here, like these people do, to help me with the child. Not realising I didn't really need much help, because I'd already set myself up on this level. Not this level, because this is not important to you or the child. In my mind, for me, that's not what you need to grow a child. You need love, you need patience. Yes, you need a roof over your head, somewhere warm to live. A lot of us are living in social housing. Yeah, we're lucky enough to get little social housing accommodation. Yeah, some of us weren't lucky enough to have that, yeah, and have to go rent, and people pay your rent, the housing benefit or whatever it is that does it. Okay, that's good. And no one's talking about that. We're not judging where you've come from with it all. What we're judging, and we're properly judging it, because it needs to be judged, because it's the generations to come what's making us who we are, yeah? We're judging where you're going. Where you're going, what your intentions are, your mindset. Not how much money you got in your pocket, or what garms you're wearing, or what rave you're going to next weekend, who's looking after the children, and what work you've got to go to. Work. I've got to go to work. I remember looking after somebody's child once. They were crying. I didn't do the picnic, nothing, by the way. Yeah, but they was crying for their mum. And I rang them, and they said they can't come because they're at work. I was mortified, because I couldn't understand. I'm not a young parent. As you know, I could have been. Could have had a 30-something-year-old child. I made a decision not to. So I'm not a young parent. I've never been a young parent. I've always been an older parent, which is something, again, not lucky, not this, not that, oh yeah, I think I'm blah, 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 planned. Do you get it? Okay, good. Because that's my little thing, what I do. And like I say, we're not judging anybody that hasn't planned and things happen, blah, 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 blah. But what we are saying is, where are you going with it now? For me, going to work is not the thing. Anyway, I rang my gran to tell her that I was pregnant with Finale, the last little one. You know, she put the phone down. Because she can't understand how I'm going to manage. She knows that me and the man are not there. This lady is a lady that stayed married and stayed with her husband for the sake of the children. So she doesn't get me. Okay, I understand that. So this is what I've done, and which is what I do. I've told you before. I proved her wrong. I showed her, say, I can do it. I'm not going to go to work. I'm going to use the money that the government give me as a benefit, because that's what them call it, yeah? I didn't have any rent to pay. They were paying my rent. These times here, Gordon Brown was handling the money for the country. So he was giving out grants for £500 when you had a child. You got money to do this. You got money to do that. There was no excuse. There was no reason for me to go to work. In fact, at that particular time, the government were encouraging stay-at-home mums, because they already realised the value of it. Now they need you lot out there in the workforce, because they sent back all the Brexit people, all the Europeans. They need you lot out there more than ever. So they're enticing you to come out there to work. Don't leave your children to go to work. I think it's sad. And where it takes two to parent, and you should have that man there, but you haven't, then now what? Then what? Who they got? What's going on? So how are you going to manage when they're teenagers? If you've been working all their young life thinking it's not important because they're young, they won't notice. They won't really miss you. You don't really need to be there, whatever your mindset is. I don't understand, because I know women that go to work after 6 months, push the child in nursery and go to work. For what? Am I your love, sir? Can't be. I don't believe that. So anyway, for whatever reasons you're doing it, I don't think it's a good idea, because I think that it's creating a gap that you're missing with your child. And like I said, that foundation that you should be nurturing, going to play groups, spending lots of time with people that are in your situation, so that you're not thinking everything's so bad. When you're off out there at work and you phone your boss and you tell him you can't come in because your child's sick, do you think he cares? Do you think he's really bothered? I tell you, most places aren't. They just want you in there to do their work. That's not fair, is it? It's not a good balance, I don't think. I don't think the compensation for money is justified for the time that is being missed with the child. Dads are different now, because it's been a traditional thing that the father goes out to work, is the breadwinner, comes home, brings the money. Mum's supposed to be a housewife. I wanted to be a housewife when I was younger. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a housewife. I just thought it was the most important job in the world. What more could be important than looking after home and family while somebody else goes out there and does the work? What more do you want, ladies? Anyway, it didn't work out. So I turned into housewife without being a wife. That makes sense. I just like house. Anyway, I made it work. I made it work. I cut down on everything that I was doing. I didn't go out. I forgot all my raving tunes. I was into Humpty Dumpty and Wind the Bobbin Up. And hey, listen, who was more singing more than me at any playgroup? If you wanted to find me, I was at the library. I walked past some friends once. Chloe was a baby. The lady had a baby at the same time as me. She's sitting in the pub. I'm walking past to go to the library. She's telling me about come and have a drink. I'm like, are you serious? Me? Nah, Bridget, I can't do that. I'm going to the library. You should be coming with me. I'm trying to say to everybody walking the opposite way to the library with a baby, come to the library. They've got story time. It's free. What more you want again? And I'm not saying that these things are normal or standard. However, what chance you giving the child if you're not spending any time with him or her? It's important. Time or money. So then you've got people, middle class people, that have a lot of money. They're comfortable in life. They can afford an au pair when they go to work. That's just as rubbish. What's that? So you've got some you really never see your child because you've paid now to definitely not see your child on that level there, up there. It's still wrong about you want career. You never thought about career before you had the child. And it's teaching your child values about this and that and rare. All it's teaching your child is that you're never there. And that money was definitely more important to you. I know people that leave their children with sandwiches after school while they're at work with the au pair. They even get a hot meal. How are you supposed to grow and develop now? You ain't even had a hot meal after you come from school. Oh, you had one at school. Oh, that was good enough, was it? That's what people are paying their taxpayers' money for. You're rinsing out the system for what it is, and it's not ever going to stretch far enough to what is desired to raise a child. I wouldn't agree with that myself personally. So yeah, okay, so it takes two to parent. You and your husband are now in cahoots. You're both working. Great. Who's looking after the kids? Your mum, his mum. So they get to enjoy their grandchildren. They get to have that influence over them and all the rest of it. And then when you come home from work now, you want to tell them off because they gave them too many sweets. You want to tell them off because they didn't put them to bed on time. You want to have and that's a problem again. That's like a common thing, you know. people that have got children arguing with their parents because they're not doing what they want with their child when, hello? Do it yourself. Do it yourself. Or don't complain. But you can't have it both ways. Because whoever's got your child at the time, they're in charge. It's not you. Doesn't matter, even matter how much you're paying them. Because when your back is turned, how are you going to know what they're dealing with? When I was about 11 or 12, I was sexually assaulted by my cousin. He thought it'd be a really good idea to put his hand down my vagina. That's the worst thing my man could have ever done. I went downstairs as soon as he'd done it and just told everybody what he'd done. Do you know what I mean? That was me, because that's how I stay as a person, as a character. I've been promoting honesty for a long time. It's never been appreciated, though. So my point is that I was always in a position, because I was born in the time that I was born, where it wasn't so much legal or illegal to leave your child on their own. It isn't now. It's all about the child. We spoke about this before. So I wasn't left with people that, in people's thing, but I didn't know. And in fact, my gran was a childminder. So people used to leave their children with us. So we had to be responsible in the house a lot. What's happening if you leave your child because you're going to work and something happens to your child? What then? How are you taking that back? How's money paying for that repair? That damage? How? Too many chances are being taken with our precious children. And they're growing up not the way we want them to grow up. They're growing up, society's perceiving them in a way that isn't always correct. We're getting a bad reputation and we're not going anywhere as we should. And for me, it all starts from foundation. Foundation. All of it, right from the get-go. So you want to be a working mum, that's fine. You got to make sure you got your things in order. You've got to make sure you got your things set. I know a lot of you guys are working in schools or working in establishments where you get the holidays with the children. Brilliant. Spend that time enjoying your children, because it's all about the memories. How many of us have got bad memories of our childhood? Why are you going to then carry on that cycle? Oh, my mum was never at home. She was always working, blah, 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 rare. Yeah, your parents might have a mortgage. Well, you got to wait for them to dead to get that. That's not, what's that? We got a mean time going on here. Do you know what I mean? Where the children are growing and you're missing it. You're missing it. You're not having your input that you want. You think you are, but you're not, because you're working. You think that's an input. It's a financial gain. The government are handing out money to people that don't work all day long. It's a benefit, because it is actually a benefit. And you might not want to be on benefits, but set yourself up so that you're not then. Think about what you're doing before you do it. Way ahead in advance. I wish I'd saved all my money and bought a house. Said this to you guys before. Instead, I was out there partying, buying garms, yeah, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't have any children then. Not thinking ahead. Just straight, simple as that. Do you know what I mean? We're all guilty of it. Men and women. I don't know why it's taken me years to realise how different we really are, and how if we could have more of an understanding of each other, how we could make things better for us and for our families and for the future of our children. I'm finding that I've got 2 sons, 2 daughters, as you know, you guys have met them. And I'm finding that with the guys, with the boys, they are who they are. They're male. I'm a woman. I brought them up practically single-handedly. I realised I can't teach them how to be men, because I'm a woman. What I can do is show them from a woman's point of view what I would like. I can suggest certain things, what might be pleasing to and beneficial to them in the end. But for me to teach my child, who's a male, how to be a man, impossible. Teach him how to be a decent human being. But I've realised they've got traits, the boys. male traits, like real ones. Things that they do, things that they say. I'm finding it really, really, the mind boggles. Cairo was saying about his sister, he said when he's 23, he'll be able to go out with her friends. So I thought about what he said, and then one of his friends came round. Winter thought he was really good looking, said it to Cairo, and then I said to Cairo, while all this was going on, what if the other way around? My man's not having it. So when Winter's 19, she can't go out with one of his friends that's 23. He said no. What is that? What is that? Is that a male thing? Is that a protective thing? If that was a sister that was older, would they be saying the same thing? Not sure that they would. Things like looking for things. Why are guys so bad at looking for things? Is it because you don't want to look for it? Is it because you want somebody else to come and find it for you? Or is it because you're just really bad at looking for things? And this, like, almost chauvinistic view of women in the kitchen. Why aren't you at work? Because your foot cock up on my sofa, bunning out my electricity. So where do you come into this as a man? Is it just laziness? What's going on with you guys? So, with that in mind, we're going back to foundation again. Because I used to think that it was the mums that weren't teaching these guys anything. No. I haven't brought my boys up to be lazy, smelly, chauvinistic, inefficient. I haven't brought them up to be like that. But that's what they are at this stage of their lives. And I think that's what most teenage boys are at this stage of their life. Where's that come from? Because the girls ain't like that. They're much more get up and go, into how they look, into what they wear, makeup, hair, going out there and getting their own and being independent. Us girls are like that. They're still like that. I know them. Finale, she's only 11. I'll do it, mummy. Until she needs the help, she don't want it. As soon as something, Cairo, he's 18. Mum, still, bridging. So I've made a new name for him, and he's man-child. Because you ain't no man, and you ain't a child. You're both, literally, a big combination. Because you've got all the credentials of male things that girls like, and that you like girls to like, yeah? But what are you doing that is manly, except for looking like a man? And then when you're done finish looking like a man, you want to shout like a man and think you can win arguments like a man just because you're a man. And some of us women are having that. That's called abuse, by the way. So with regards to our relationships that we have and what we're teaching our children with regard to our relations that we have, I know English white people, British white people that have relationships like this. They go out with somebody, they're married, they divorce, they have children with that person, then they divorce. When they're going out with somebody else, that same person that they divorced is all up in their things. All up with their, oh yeah, Mandy came. Who's Mandy? Oh, my ex-wife. Yeah, she was there at the wedding. Oh no, her and Florence, who's Florence? My wife at the moment. Her and Florence are best. They get on. British white people get on. They don't let things stick up. And, oh yeah, by the way, I just wanted to say that Bridget Jones is a scat. That is my view. Can you believe that Bridget Jones, well-spoken, working, middle-class woman, has got 2 baby fathers? She don't know who her baby father is. The last Bridget Jones programme that I watched. We ain't getting away with them things in our society. We're being looked upon like we don't know what we're doing. We're unorganised when we do that. Do you get it? So that's why you have to come better. You have to come correct. I'm not saying that you have to be married. I'm not saying that you have to have a partner that you have to live with and all the rest of it. And all this stuff about when you got your little social housing, making man jump on your bandwagon and move into your yard to come and mash up your little family home. How do you think your children are looking at you then? Never mind you going off to work. When you do come home, you're coming home with a man that's not their dad, trying to tell them what to do, this and that. Next thing, the man's moved into your little social housing habitat that you and your children had good. Because you want to be happy. Why don't you try and find happiness within? You're not going to find it with paper. You're not going to find it with man and this, yeah? You're going to find it within. When you find happiness within, then you're showing your children something. Then you're showing your children values and where they need to be as decent people, because they can see that you're a decent person. Because no one knows you better than them, furthermore to anything. When I'm feeling a bit negative, the first thing, are you okay, mummy? Obviously, I say yes, because my burden is not their problem. That's not what you should do. Burden your kids. Nobody wants to do that. However, they're aware. So, leading off the track, I digressed a bit, which I'm going to do. I'm only human. Yeah, so we've gone back to the relationship thing. Yeah, we need to show our children how to have relationships with each other, with you and them. Yeah, open, promote honesty, but you're only there hiding in the background. When you're going raving, now putting clothes in bag because you don't want your son to see what you're wearing. All these kind of things. You think they don't know you're doing that? You think they don't know? They do. They know more than you think, because they ain't stupid. And you haven't brought them up to be stupid, have you? You don't want them to be stupid, but you're there hiding from them. And then talking about next thing, they can never see you because you're going to work. Who are they going to talk to? Hey? Next thing, like I said, gang. They hitch up with man because the man's family much more amicable than theirs. You mustn't push your children out, babe. Seriously, keep them in. All these things that I've mentioned, they're for you. But you don't have children for you, do you? You have children for them. Because obviously you've had your time. And even if you haven't had your time, it's tough now. It cut off. Your time done. At their time now. So you need to focus from within. Then you'll realise that half the things that you're spending the money on that you think you need to go to work, you don't need. Processed food. You don't need processed food. It's very, very expensive in these times here now. Everything's gone up. Yeah? You don't need the telly on all the time. You don't need your children in front of a tablet all the time. You need some board games. Yeah? You need to take some time off work. Clean up the yard. Look at it. It's a state. You've got money. All right, so you're going to work. Yeah? You don't see the children as often as you should. The yard's a mess. It's not even comfortable and cozy because you ain't got time to do nothing. The little money that you're scraping together, you feel you can't afford what you need. So it's all about mindset after that, isn't it? It's all about being able to afford what you need. Maybe not setting your goals so high so that you can live efficiently rather than lavishly, sacrificing this for that. Allow it all. Got to be a balance. A balance about everything, and everything needs to be thought about. Process, and progress. I just made that up. I feel that with regard to how we project ourselves with relationships all comes down to how we are as people, how we are as individuals, how we carry ourselves. Like I said, our children know us sometimes more than we know ourselves, because there are things that people know about you that you don't know they know. That's a fact. You're not aware that they've clocked it. That could be underestimating, and we mustn't ever do that. Mustn't underestimate other human beings, because we've all got our special talents and gifts, isn't it? So yeah, based on that, I'm definitely into it. Talking about the house support, and if you've got a great support network, how you mustn't abuse it. If you haven't got a support network, how you mustn't let yourself be abused, because people love home in on that. When they can see that your support network is not as big as it should be, they like to home in and almost take liberties with you, because they can see that you're vulnerable. We're vulnerable by nature. We're vulnerable by nature because we're female. We're vulnerable by nature because we have children that we need to protect. So for somebody to come in and see that vulnerability and take a liberty because of it, those people need to be gone out of your life. Doesn't matter who they are, what title they hold. Because if you don't look about what's going on around you, then you won't be able to see it. and then how you're going to do anything about it. So when it comes to our youth, and we don't want to be repeating cycles, you see, that's what we want to try and get out of, because repeating the cycles is what's got us here in the first place. Every minute, our name is in black mud, and we don't want that anymore. I would like to eradicate that and make everybody clean, and so we can all start again, have another opportunity to get it right. What's wrong with that? We're here. We're already here in this country, even though we're not supposed to be, right? Because our parents' only came here for a short time to make a couple pounds and go back. We've overstayed our welcome. Okay, good. So based on that, based on the fact that we've overstayed our welcome, we now need to consider what we're doing here. And if what we're doing here is wasting our time because we're all gonna die, realize that, yeah? You're aware of that. Nobody's here forever. All the there and rare that everybody's getting on with. Apparently, there's only one shot, and this is it. So based on that, meantime, and your happiness, and not repeating the cycle, because it doesn't work. It doesn't work. They said that the jails are filled up with black people. There's only 3% of us here. How are they filled up with them? They said that things are disproportionate. Of course they're disproportionate. There aren't many of us here. So how are we sticking out so much? How are we so prominent on the negative? Obviously, we need to switch that. We need to change that. Like I said, my view will always be foundation. I've decided not to carry on the cycle with my children. I've decided to they still turned out, you saw Cairo, he's still all trap star and this, still. That's just with outside influence. Imagine now I'm going to add to that by going to work, by picking up a man that isn't their dad, that's going to come into my home, jump on my bandwagon and make things worse for me, just because, for them, just because that's what makes me happy. Even though it can't make me happy, really. How could it make me happy if they're unhappy? Let's think about this a minute. Hang on a minute. Hang on. How is it going so wrong? Now, I'm not being funny, yeah? But it can't be dick. It can't be pussy. It can't be that shallow, people. I would say definitely money's got to do with it. Money's got to do with everything. Money's got to do with everything all over the world. Money has no prejudice. It gets involved in all pockets, in all walks of life, with everybody, and literally changes people for better or worse. Okay, so we could say money. So what we're dealing with here, we're dealing with social class. For me, that's what we're dealing with. Money doesn't make you happy, but it does give you opportunities that you might not have had if you didn't have so much money. And saving as well. Not just saving money, saving yourself, saving your soul, saving your mental health, saving your integrity, saving your self-worth. We all need to learn to save a bit more. We're quite frivolous. We like to spend a lot of money. We like to let ourselves go. We like to show our vulnerable side to people that we don't really know. Those things will get you robbed, fam. Do you get me? You'll get jacked up for those things there. Because those things there in life are precious. It's not just about this, people. It can't be. But that's what everyone's gearing towards. That's why you get up and go to work every day, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Is it really making your life that much better? Seriously. When your children are on roads, you don't even know where they are. You bought them the big smartphone. They're not even answering it to you. When you're calling them, you can't even get no answer. Bare answer machine. Oh, it's my mum. You're getting busy, blood, or aired, or whatever. And that's what you're working for. My children are bad enough as it is. I didn't go to work. They still turn around facey to me, got their own mind, want to try and tell me this and that, rare, after all that you do for them. But when you go to work and you say it's all that you're doing for them, you need to check in with them that it's okay and that they realise it is for them, and that when you're bringing home the paper, it's of a benefit, and the yard looks crisp, and they're comfortable to bring their friends back and stuff like that. Because all them kind of things will make your youths run from your yard, you know, and go check other people, and your youth's never at home. Doesn't want to be. The environment ain't set up properly. Doesn't have to be posh. Has to be clean. Has to be tidy. How much that cost? Everything's on the never, never now. Everyone's got credit cards, Klarna, Pay Clear, this and that. Ain't no reason for your yard not to look a certain way, of a certain standard, so that your child can come home and bring their friends back comfortably. Me personally, I don't let my children sleep out. Yeah, I don't take no chances with sleeping out. So everybody's got to come back to ours. So it's got to be comfortable. Do you know what I mean? Cairo told me the other day we've got so much plates and cups. I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, no, Mum, when I go to other people's houses, they don't have like this many plates. Plates, brethren. That's what you lot are lacking in. Plates. So what else is going on then? If that's what he can see, what's going on behind the curtain? We're doing it to ourselves. 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 Want to talk about system. The system's against us. The system's against you. Ain't against me. You, whoever you are, whoever the system's against. Yeah, look behind you. Look behind you still. Because it's not about the system. Mindset. Reset the mindset. And we're laughing. Man want to talk about bounty and coconut when people are doing things like white people. But you live in white people's land. How are you supposed to do it then? Oh, I know. You don't think you can make up your own thing. Is it working for you? No, it's not. Yeah? It's not working. Black people, we shouldn't be in food banks. What are we doing in food bank? After somebody must have taught you how to roll 2 flour and boil 2 saltfish. It's not expensive. Do you get me? That's how we live. We've always been poor. So what difference it make now? Do you get me? We come from poor people's place. Who's more innovative than us when it comes to creating, engineering, food, art, culture? That's what food is. That's what culture is. Art, food, and music. Now, you can't test us when it comes to it. So we ain't got no reason to be complaining about poverty. We ain't got no reason to be blaming no system. Everybody knows how to wash clothes by hand. Do you get me? All of us know how to wash clothes by hand. If your parents never teach you, your grandmother teach you. If your grandmother never teach you, your auntie teach you. Somebody taught you how to survive with nothing. You get westernized now. You start see to blink on the television. On the Love Watch Too Much advert. When the children were growing up, straight BBC, fam. I didn't pay my television license for, no, lie. I paid £6 a month for ages, or a week, or whatever it was. For ages and ages and ages, until I realised nobody else is paying it. But the BBC properly saved my ass. CBeebies. What? Come home from nursery in my bedroom watching CBeebies because there ain't no telly in the front room. While your other brother's at full-time school, or however it goes. You get your little CBeebies in. Do you get me? Your little Balamori, your little Squiglet, whatever you want to call her, blah, blah, blah. On the Love Watch Too Much advert, that's how you lot know how to want things. When it's Christmas, when it's birthdays for your children, I bet you lot are brucking yourselves. I never went down that road at all. I realised when I had Cairo, I sat down and thought about it. His birthday's in August. So Christmas is coming up soon. He's going to be 3 months old. What's he going to know? Nothing. So you kind of forget about that one. When he was on his first year Christmas now, so he's a year and 3 months, I said to myself, but hang on a minute. If I start buying this child presents now, what about 1 year when I'm broke? And this Christmas time all falls apart because he hasn't got all these presents that I've seen people writing lists, you know, about what presents they want for Christmas. Yeah? What about when I'm broke and that doesn't happen? Here what I'm going to do. I'm not even going to bother with it. So, for Christmas, they get nothing. They get nothing. They get things all year. Fed, watered, housing, clothes that fit, that are clean. Doesn't matter what they got, designer thing on them. We've never been into that. Because that's all the trap, brethren. That's all the trick. Must come out of all them things there. Then you'll have more of this that you love so much to spend on the important things, like taking them out for the day, spending that quality time. Remember we spoke about it before. You don't even need this to take them out. You need an open space, not raining. You've got all these places that you can go and sit down in these days that they've been created spaces for people and their well-being. So anyway, spending time is important. But regardless of all of that, I made sure that I didn't buy birthday presents and Christmas presents. So birthday now, you got the children. This is what I'm talking about, breaking cycles. Like, but important ones that are going to be beneficial to everybody. Because I know at Christmas, when everybody else buys them stuff, because for some reason people feel sorry for them. Oh, their mum don't buy them anything. Let's get them this. Let's get them that. Good for Unu. Because let me tell you what happens to it. The paper gets ripped off, that paper that you spent money on, took your time to wrap. It gets chucked and discarded to one side. And whatever is in that box, I guarantee you it ain't lasting till January. I guarantee you, piece over there in that corner, piece over there in that, some of it's in the bin, some of it blah, 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 rare. You're wasting out your money. This same money that you're bucking up your neck to go to work for and neglecting the youth for, you're wasting it. You're not even spending it to good use. Anyway, birthday. Birthday's even worse. Are you trying to mug me off? So, here what now? I decided to have a baby. I decided to carry that baby for 9 months. Me, female. You, female. Yeah, you decide to carry the child for the big 9 months that you got to carry the child for. Sometimes you go over, sometimes you don't. Sometimes there's complications, sometimes there's not. Guaranteed, though, every single time there's pain. When that baby turns 1 and knows nothing about nothing, 2, knows nothing about nothing, 3, knows a little bit, 4, 5. By the time that baby's got to 6, 7, and 8, it's rotten. Here why? Because every single year, you muggins over there that push out child, carry child, raise child, feed child, do all kind of things for child. On his birthday, got to buy him a present as well. Bruv, it should be the other way around. Get with it. Keep your money that you've gone so hard to work for, neglected the youth for, the yard, everything, blah, 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 even yourself, because of the people's work that you want the money so much for, save it. Don't think that you have to fit in and buy your children presents because everybody else is doing it. Some of you are watching this, ain't even got any children yet. Take my stupid advice. Work out what's important. When I rang my grandma, because you know me and her tight, yeah, I rang her, oh, Mum, Cairo can read. She said, hey, what you expect? Just sitting down whole day? What can you say to that? I'm not working. My child should be able to learn to read. You're working. That's the excuse for your child not to be able to read. No. This is what I'm saying. You want to be a super mum, do it all. And do it all properly. Don't get it wrong in the process of your working, other people's work. Even when it's your own work. This is what I've realised about having your own business. You're still a slave to the service because you're still offering a service and you still got to be there at a certain time and you still got to provide what you said you're providing. Own business or not, it's work. Don't mug yourself off for it. Know the worth and what the cost of the loss is on the other side. Because we're not talking about single people here. Because when I was single, nobody could tell me nothing. I just do what I'm doing. I have no responsibilities for anybody to say duty. As soon as you have the unprotected sex and you decide to have the child, you're on duty. Straight. There's no coming off it. You're going to work for other people. You're still on duty for them. Make it worth it. Make it worth it. Get a cleaner. Don't know how much it costs, but you're working, isn't it? You must be able to afford it. Little Polish person, come and clean your yard. Mix up things the other way around. Before it used to be black people cleaning white people's yard. Mix that up. Come out of the cycle, brethren. What's wrong with you getting a cleaner? Well, you can't get a cleaner. You're too black to get a cleaner. Nah. Your social class isn't good enough to get a cleaner. Nah. Cleaners cost 20 quid an hour. I don't know how much you earn, but you can afford it. Hear what the worth of that is. Your children come home to a clean yard. And that's so bad. No, it can work. It can really work. We've got to break the cycle, people. We've got to break the cycle. We've got to break the cycle. Breaking the cycle is the answer because, like I said, since Windrush, yeah, we ain't getting where we need to be. Foundation is important. Relationships that we build with people, other people, how people perceive us is important. We spoke about perception ages ago and how magic it is. We're giving the wrong impression. Why are we giving the wrong impression? Because we ain't doing anything right that we're supposed to do. You want to follow white people and those middle-class working people that have an au pair. Get an au pair then. Get one. A live-in one that you can afford to keep. Oh, no, you can't do that, so we're going a bit lower level with it all, and you have a childminder. Okay, I hear you. While you got that, make sure it's the right childminder as well, you know. This is what I'm saying. You've got to be thorough. Because this child that you're about to raise is soon going to become an adult. They're either going to contribute to society in a positive or negative way. That is, for me, that's down to you. Yes, we only make them, we don't make their mind. I get it. But foundation. You'll always find that people go back to foundation. Because there's always that hope of if they've got it, they can go back to it. Imagine now you haven't got it. Imagine now there was no foundation. I know man, 30s, yeah, mid-30s, chatting about their mixed race, chatting about their white mums, cussing them down to the ground. All you done was just leave me with people and go to work. Look at me now. Nobody wants that. I'm not saying that it's that mum's fault, yeah, because I truly believe that once you get to a certain stage in life, no matter how old you are, you take responsibility for yourself and your own actions. I truly, truly believe that. You can't go back and blame. But you see, foundation. Isn't it beautiful to have it to fall back on? Isn't it just gorgeous to have it to fall back on? Give it to them. It's your duty. They deserve it. There's a psalm in the Bible. It says, honour thy mother and thy father. Do you know what it also says? Parents, be good to your children. Now, how important that is to be good to your children. You think you could just go around abusing your child how you feel, leaving it here, leaving it there, doing what you want with it, and it's not going to know that you've done that. Not going to have any effect. You can look at yourself and know how your parents dealt with you, what effect it's had, positive or negative. You can look at that for yourself and know to yourself, say, ooh, you know what? My mum should have done this really and truly, or my dad should have done that, or whatever it is you got to say. You do it then. You make that difference. Don't carry on with the same thing that your parents used to do that you didn't like, or you felt that didn't work so positively. Don't carry it on, because you can't help it, trauma, this, that. Nah, brethren. Come out of that and give your children that foundation. Like I said, I'm not judging you that you've got a job. I'm not judging you that you might not have as much time on your hands as somebody that hasn't got a job. Yeah, because we've all got the same 24 hours. However, what I am saying is, what are you doing with it? What are you doing with that time while you're at work? What have you set up for the children? What are you doing? What's happening with it all? What does it mean to you to go out to work and not fulfill that duty as a parent? I don't care how you manage to do that. Like I say, because if you've got a man and it happens to be the father of the children, then obviously you two need to work together to set it up so that it works and that the children have that foundation. And it has to be a solid foundation. It can't be one of them wavy foundations when you push your foot through. It's when you push your foot through, it's gone. The foundation has to be solid. It cannot be wavy, people. Yeah? Because we're supposed to be strong black people. Strong. I'm seeing too many weaknesses. They're seeing it now. It's becoming apparent. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not really us, is it? Because when the Windrush came, they came with a bang. They contributed hard. And I think what's happened is it's had the adverse effect. I think that a lot of men from that generation literally thought they ain't doing what their parents done. They ain't doing it. And here we are. Because you got people that you've produced like myself. And I'm looking at it thinking, so I've worked. I've had a career. I've had a career in sales. I've earned loads of dosh. Yeah, just by being able to have the psychology to offer people stuff that they don't really want. By the time you finish with them, they're buying it from you. I've been gifted with that. I don't even know if I've been gifted with it. It's something that I've just worked with and just made work for me. Like I said, I decided to have the children and not work. And we've all got different journeys and we've all got different stages of our journey. So that in itself, we can't put together. There's no exact science with it. However, if your intentions are good and your mindset is right and you have the children's best interests at heart, there's no reason that we can't get a whole society together of affluent black people. Black people that are taken seriously because they're going somewhere and doing things. And not just one and two, loads of us. The majority of us. As it stands, you can even know by the people that you know and by the people that know those people and the people that know those people, the contention and the negativity is still there. And eradication is what needs to happen with that. It needs to disappear. It needs to be the norm for us to have good work ethics. No one's saying that you've got to go out there and go slave out for people because, I'm not agreeing with that, whether you've got children or not. But good work ethics, even when you've got your own business, is obviously going to be of a benefit to you. Because if you haven't got good work ethics, there's no point in setting up your own company because no work's going to get done, is it? So, I don't know. It's easy for me to sit here and almost summarise, but I've been there. I'm not talking from somebody that's been born, oh yeah, this, that, she thinks this, No, I don't think anything. I've been there. I've had the rough childhood. So for me, being a bad child was more beneficial to me than what it would have been for me to be a bad adult. I just don't understand bad adults. I don't get it. You're a grown-ass person and you're doing bad foolishness still. Because even if you're doing stuff that you really want to do and it doesn't match up to criteria of society or the norm or standard or whatever, make it work for you. Don't tell me you're going to do all that and end up in pen. Don't tell me you're going to do all that and your name's going to be in mud. You've got a terrible reputation on road. Don't tell me you're going to do all that. Your children don't want to know you. Don't tell me you're going to do all that. You're going to become homeless. You don't really see much black homeless people, There's not that many in proportion with regard to the opposite of white people that are homeless. And then you've got those companies. They're companies. You do realise that, yeah? Those people that set up. Apparently they come in a big van in the morning. They all get out with their disabilities. I think they're genuine. And then they beg for money. Their organisations, they're not the same. Homelessness, it is a thing for us, but it's not. Because we're so extended. There's always going to be somewhere for you lot to go rinse before you become homeless. Apparently, we're all so far away from homelessness. I find that hard to believe myself. From my own point of view, because I haven't bun out all my free paper, you see. So I believe that if I wasn't to have a roof over my head, I would have one. Somebody would provide me with one. Somebody that I know, family member, blah, 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 because I haven't been abusive to all the help that I could have had in the past, which is what a lot of people do. We was talking about men and women that are together and you're both working. I know men and women that are married or together, live in the home together, always going to the mum for help, for money and stuff. But you're working, fam. So where's this working for what? And why? Okay. I just wanted to point that out because those people that do that, yeah, I think that's a regular thing as well. You know who you are. You shouldn't be doing that. You need that independence because that's what you're going to be showing your children. Do you know what I mean? You're going to be showing your children that. Because they can hear you when you're having all them to, all right, mum. No, I just wanted to know if you did. Yeah, if you got a tenner, you can lend me. No, it's just that blah, blah. They can hear them conversations, you know. When you're in the other room, they become normal, subliminal in the child's head. Next thing they're going to chat in your business in the school. Anyway, that's you lot's problem. People, don't keep up the cycle. Don't rinse out yourself doing other people's work when you've got your own work to do. Think about the meantime, what you're penning out your money on, yeah? Who can present their yard to the public and who can't? And when I say the public, I'm just talking about your children's friends. Like, they might just want to bring a friend home, and they can't. Little things like that are meantime, their comfort, their security, their all the things that need to be considered in order to be a grounded person. I'm not talking about what your yard looks like. Don't get it twisted. I think, like I said, I'm not bothered about whether your furniture comes from Hills or Habitat or flaming the people that give out second-hand furniture from the council. It's got to be decent. Does it smell? Yeah? Or does it look like it's been worn and torn? And stuff like that, because the children will get embarrassed. And then before you know it, you can't see them, brethren. When you come home from work, they're not there. They're not comfortable. They're not secure. It's our job to provide that comfortability and that security, you know. And like I said, it doesn't have to be lavish. Yeah, so we're not breaking cycles. We're not pushing our children away, because as much as the quote in the Bible says, honour thy mother and thy father, like I said to you before, I shall reiterate, it also says, and parents, be good to your children. Please. Good child, bad adult. Bad adult, good child, whatever way you want to look at it. So I was a bad child, and I turned into a good adult. I think that's the way it goes a lot of the time. But you get these women and men, mainly not men, definitely women. They're such good children. Oh my days. You see when they grow up? All what they never done when they was a child, they're trying to do it now. Bruv, it's too late for all that. You're making yourself look bad. And don't forget, your children are watching you. Because they are. You should have done it all then. Got it all out of the way. So they brought my cousin to me. She was behaving badly. They said, Marsha, please talk to her. She was 14, apparently bringing boys back, smoking weed, this, that, and the other, rare. Do you know what my advice was? And my advice will always be, get it out of the way now. Her parents looked at me. You can't say that. I said, well, she's got your support now. So you want her to be getting on like this when she's 26 and you're completely unaware and you can't help. No clue of where she is because it's none of your business. She's 26. No, that's not what you want. Anyway, that was the advice I gave her. That was at least 8 years ago. If you see my little cousin now, how Chris she is, can't chat to that. She's had all their experiences. She's done all her badness, got it all out of the way. And I'm not promoting that, you know. But this is what I'm saying. If you've got a child that seems to be a bit rebellious, support them. Don't let them go to the wayside now. Because by the time they get to a certain age, they won't be thanking you when they've made it, or they might not make it. So support them now, so that when they get down the line and they are an adult, they're equipped. They know where they went wrong when they was youth. And they know what you done to support them and guide them to put it right. They might be able to do the same for somebody else down the line. But we've got this thing. You think you're big, I'm just going to let you. You do what you want. You do what you want. You just get on with it. We've got this bad attitude about it all. Because we take it personally. We forget we was there once. Do you understand? It's not personal, Jed. It's hormones. It's outside influence. Do you get it? It got nothing to do with you and the way that you brought them up. Here where it's going to come into you now. Foundation. Did you have any? Can you draw it back? Are you even around to realise it's happening? When you are realising it's happening, what are you going to do to make sure it doesn't continue or get worse? Oh, here what you're going to go and do. Go to work. You lot are jokers, fam. You don't need to sort that out. Do you get it? Because it's a cycle and it's vicious. And where you've lived your life already and you've gone through your little hormones and little outside influence, what about the child? Yeah? What about the child? Like I said, it's not personal. Yeah? When your child answers you back, that could be classed as being forward thinking. Because you ain't even listened to the answer yet properly good, I bet. Do you get me? It's just the fact that they've answered back. You said what you said. You don't want to hear nothing. They might have a valid point. We need to do a lot more listening with our youths. A lot more listening. A lot more listening will bring a lot more understanding. Spoke about that at the beginning of the show today. Understanding is a really important part of it. I was speaking to somebody who's a generation above me. They said they don't understand my generation. I asked them what they meant. They spoke about it in this content. They said when they grew up, everybody that went to school with was had parents that were together, Mr. and Mrs. blah blah. Everybody, no matter where you lived, black families all had Mr. It was rare that those Windrush people were not together. You know that because you know your parents. And you know your grandparents, you know your aunts, you know your uncles, your grand-aunts, etc., etc. Yeah? So bearing that in mind, this guy who's a generation older than me said doesn't have to deal with our generation because we come from a generation of bare single parents. We've got a different outlook. I have no idea what it's like to be brought up with a mum and dad. Most of you don't. Most of your children don't. I shouldn't say most. No, I'm going to say most. We just don't. We don't have that mum and dad influence. So the influence that they have got, it's got to count. And it's got to count for something positive. They need something to take away. The memories, really, really important. Really important. So what I tried to do, no, I'm going to start again. What I done was, I gave my children memories of childhood. So, like I've told you before, they spent a lot of time in playgroups, museums, other children's parties because they'd always get invited because that's how I always wanted them to present themselves. I always wanted them to be those children that always got invited. And they were. I think that's how you project yourself as a person as well when you are a parent, when you're going down the school, when you're taking them to the school. That has a reflection on them and whether they'll get invited because when they're first all going to school, the parents always decide who gets invited to the parties. Yeah, when you're having a party and you're in nursery, your child doesn't get to decide who they want to come. You do by the parents that you like, mainly, isn't it? Really. So yeah, the memories are important. I used to save up little money, little benefit that the government used to give me, take them on a little caravan holiday. Yeah, sometimes we were able, after a couple of years, 18 months of saving, able to go on a proper holiday where they needed a passport. Do you know what I mean? Not everybody's going to be fortunate enough to do that, and it's not important because you can go down the river, feed the ducks. You're not supposed to feed the ducks with bread, by the way. All about the seeds now. Yeah. And that could be that memories like that. That's all it takes. What we're not trying to do, we're not trying to have licks. We're not trying to have bedwetting. We're not trying to have embarrassment. We're not trying to have unhygienic situations. We're not trying to have situations like that. Like how back in the day used to be, and maybe it was like everybody was like that because everybody coming up then. Now we know better now, people. We know better. We're more educated now. Una still sitting down there, Una fat. Una need to get slim. Do you get me? Because you want to show your children. You want to show your children how to go to work every day. You want to show your children how to be proper, healthy people from within. And healthy means mindset as well. Because poor mental health is no good to us either. Do you know what I mean? We don't go down too well with that, us black people, when it comes to poor mental health. Half the reason for failure of our young black people. Things are just not recognised. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're not recognising that your child might be behaving in a certain way because they're not well mentally. Not even recognising it. So how are you going to do anything about it? And then again, bad adult. Get to adult stage now. Nothing's been established as a child. No foundation has been set up. Get to adult stage now. Failing. By this time now, parent done, gone, and bury maybe. There's no one to blame after that. You just got you. Do you know what I mean? That's why we have to make it work for ourselves. Can't afford to linger with excuses about the system, about this, about that. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. You can't allow the system to raise your child. You can't allow an iPad to raise your child. You can't allow a smartphone to raise your child. You can't allow the TV and adverts and outside influence of TikTok and Snapchat and Facebook's not even in fashion no more. Instagram to raise your child. Stop it. As we speak now on social media, that's your thing. Like, if you wasn't into social media, you wouldn't even know I existed. Like, a person like me wouldn't know I existed because I'm not into it. And the reason I'm not into it, because I'm so into something else. I'm so into and so anal about raising these people that I have bore to be decent human beings. That's all I care about. And it should be all you care about as well. Because when we're dead and gone and we're leaving them behind, they've got children to raise after that as well. It's inevitable. We've got to cut the cycle, people. Please, I beg.